Good evening, friends. Good evening, potential leaders. We're back today. It's Monday again, and we're speaking about women leaders. Today, we're going to be speaking about women leaders in economy as a sphere of influence. And there's no one else better to speak about than Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Awesome lady. You know, while studying her life, there were certain key areas that are identified as being her strength for where she is today. It's going to be very short, it's going to be a wrap up because her life's journey to where she is today has been very strategic. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was born in Delta State, and of course she grew up there because at some point in her life her parents got a scholarship to go to Germany to school. So they left Ngozi back home with their mother. The father left Ngozi with his mother, so she grew up with her grandmother. Needless to say, she wasn't very happy about that, but it exposed her to the living conditions in the rural areas. And even in that time of her life, she had already started forming her purpose and determining what she was going to do if she was not in that position. When her parents came back and took her away and started schooling her properly, her father came back as an economist and was intentional in putting her on the path of becoming the renowned economist that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has become. So what do we get from that? In most of her speaking engagements, she talks about the fact that your opportunity should be used to serve. And because she had become who her father wanted her to be, she decided to use that to serve society. She decided to use that to impact the economy. So Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's life is about intentional education. Guess what? Her undergraduate degree was in Harvard University. And she has been consistent in educating herself in Ivy League schools, and that has made for a fantastic international network that has made her desirable, that has made her to appear to have the value that she brings, that has made her to be sought out for appointments, etc., and has also given her the privilege to be on the board of awesome corporations across the world. Currently, we know that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is contending or has been appointed the Director General of WTO. Auntie Ngozi, we pray and we agree with you that you are going to get it despite all the little contentions that are going on. But I want to say that when you study Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's life, three things stand out, and she's been consistent in it. Strategic education, intentional upbringing. Her parents were very intentional about who they wanted her to be. And in most of her accolades, she says, I want to thank my parents, but most especially I want to thank my father, because her father was the economist, and she talks about the times when they sat together to have discussions about the economy, what kinds of policies could be formulated to address different social issues, different economic issues, etc. And that is what created the thirst and hunger for Ngozi to go on the path that she's going on. So we're talking about intentional education, strategic parenting. And aside from that, or let's say in addition to that, Ngozi has one of the most stable families that we could even think of when it comes to women leaders. Last week we talked about Folorunsho Olakija. It's the same thing. It's about having a support system that works. It's about having a stable home. It's about having your husband as a partner and your children as partners as you go along your leadership journey. So as we prepare to begin to lead in different spheres of influence, I would like us to note strategic parenting. For those of us that probably now think it's too late for us to become the leader that we want to be, or we should have been, begin to instill in your children those skill sets and begin to plant the seeds for change, for transformational leadership in them, and they'll grow to be Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. And for those of us that still think that we can make a difference, let us become strategic, let us become intentional. And for those of us that have homes, we have to understand that if you don't, like we've looked in Folorunsho's case, and now in Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's case. If you don't have a support system that works, if you don't have stability at home, you cannot dare to fly. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has broken the glass ceiling. She's been the first in so many instances. And I pray that as you continue to listen in and listen and hear what we're saying about women in leadership, that you will become passion-driven, you will become intentional, you will become strategic, not only in your life, but also in your children's lives, so that we can build the next generation of women leaders in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you for staying with me today. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.